In our relentless pursuit of a life filled with happiness and fulfillment, we are naturally inclined to seek comfort, stability, and the absence of pain. We dream of tranquil routines, frictionless relationships, and an obstacle-free path. However, ancient wisdom and the experience of countless lives reveal a paradoxical truth. It is often in the face of pain, challenge, and discomfort that the most fertile ground for our deepest growth and the revelation of our true strength resides. The title, "The Pain Teaches What Comfort Hides," is not just a catchy phrase. It's an invitation for a profound reflection on how we face adversity and how we can transform suffering into a catalyst for a more fulfilling, conscious, and above all, wise life. Comfort, though alluring, can be a zone of stagnation. It lulls us into a predictable routine where the need to question ourselves, reinvent ourselves, and mobilize our internal resources is diminished. In its sweetness, comfort can subtly blind us to our weaknesses, to opportunities for improvement, and to the unexplored potential within us. It can mask procrastination, complacency, and even the fear of stepping out of what is known. Pain, on the other hand, acts as an undeniable alarm bell. It jolts us out of inertia, forcing us to stop, to feel, and to reevaluate. Whether it's the pain of loss, the frustration of failure, the anguish of uncertainty, or the discomfort of a new endeavor, it demands our attention. And it is in this demand that pain reveals itself as a relentless yet highly effective teacher, capable of imparting lessons we would never learn in an easy existence. This guide will deeply explore how pain acts as a transformative agent, revealing aspects of ourselves and of life that comfort conveniently conceals. We will address not only the acceptance of pain but also how to use it as a springboard for resilience, self-discovery, and meaningful action. If you're looking for more emotional balance, clarity in decisions, and want to learn how to better navigate life, this content is for you. So go ahead, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because with every video you'll grow stronger internally and see life with greater wisdom. Comfort, a zone of stagnation disguised as security. The pursuit of comfort is instinctive and understandable. Who doesn't wish for a life free of worries, stress, where everything flows effortlessly? But it's crucial to understand that prolonged and unquestioned comfort can be the greatest enemy of our personal and professional growth. It induces a false sense of security that, in the long run, makes us vulnerable. The illusion of stability and the absence of growth. Comfort creates a bubble where external changes seem distant and internal ones unnecessary. We believe that by being in a situation without major disruptions, we are safe and don't need to adapt. This illusion of stability prevents us from developing new skills, exploring new horizons, and preparing for life's inevitable challenges. Think of a tree that grows in an environment without winds or storms. Its roots don't deepen and its trunk doesn't strengthen. At the first gust it might fall. Similarly, an individual who lives in constant comfort doesn't develop the emotional and psychological resilience needed to face adversity. Comfort hides the vital need for continuous adaptation and the deepening of our internal roots. Procrastination and complacency as byproducts of comfort. In a comfortable environment, the intrinsic motivation to act and seek improvements drastically diminishes. Why do something difficult, challenging, or uncomfortable if we are already fine where we are? This mindset fuels procrastination, delaying important tasks, necessary learning, and urgent changes that could propel our growth. Complacency sets in, and with it, the loss of valuable opportunities for personal and professional development, innovation, and even preventing future problems. Comfort deceives us, making us believe that the status quo is sufficient, and thus, it hides the sense of urgency and the discipline necessary for sustainable progress. Blindness to weaknesses and the blockage of self-knowledge. When things are going well, that is, when we are comfortable, we tend to ignore our own weaknesses, our blind spots, and deficiencies in our character or skills. We don't feel motivated to perform an honest self-assessment, to confront aspects of our personality that need improvement, or to develop new competencies. Comfort prevents us from facing our imperfections, limiting our potential for evolution. It's like a foggy mirror that doesn't allow us to see the full image. It hides the areas of our lives that require more attention, deep internal work, and conscious effort for improvement. The absence of challenge and the detriment to developing resilience. Resilience, the ability to recover, adapt, and strengthen in the face of adversity, is one of the most crucial qualities for a full life. However, it only develops through facing challenges and overcoming obstacles. If our lives are constantly comfortable, we are never forced to stretch our limits, develop coping strategies, and strengthen our emotional and mental muscles. When pain inevitably appears, and it always does, we will be less equipped to deal with it, making the impact even more devastating. Comfort, by protecting us from small pains, hides our true capacity for overcoming and leaves us vulnerable to life's great storms. Loss of purpose and existential boredom. Paradoxically, an excessively comfortable life without significant challenges can lead to profound existential boredom and a loss of purpose. Humans yearn for meaning, for contribution, for overcoming something. When there are no challenges to conquer, goals to achieve, or problems to solve, even if they are self-imposed problems for growth, life can become empty and meaningless, despite all apparent ease. The lack of friction for growth prevents us from discovering our true potential and experiencing the deep satisfaction that comes from contribution and overcoming. Comfort, in its quest to eliminate all friction, hides the inherent human need for meaning, to transcend the obvious, and to seek a greater purpose that drives us. Pain as a catalyst, irreplaceable lessons and the awakening of consciousness. Pain, in its multiple forms, physical, emotional, psychological, existential, is a universal and inevitable experience. But instead of being merely something to be avoided or lamented, it is, paradoxically, one of our greatest teachers, capable of revealing truths and strengthening our character in ways that comfort never could. It acts as a powerful catalyst, accelerating processes of self-knowledge and transformation that would otherwise take much longer, or might not even happen at all. The awakening of clarity and the reorganization of priorities. When intense pain manifests, it often acts like a lightning bolt cutting through the fog of illusion and superficiality. Serious health problems force us to reevaluate habits and radically value life. Financial losses compel us to be more prudent, creative, and to reconsider the true value of money and security. Disappointments in love lead us to reflect on our relationship patterns, what we truly seek in a partner, and our own self-worth. Pain forces us to prioritize what is essential, discarding the superfluous, what no longer serves us, and the distractions that once seemed important. It breaks complacency and forces us into an honest examination of our lives. It hides the true order of importance in our lives, revealing what truly matters when what doesn't is stripped away. The revelation of inner resilience and hidden strength. It is in moments of greatest adversity that we discover an inner strength we never knew we possessed. When we are forced to deal with extreme situations, our capacity for adaptation, our creativity in finding solutions, and our persistence are tested and developed exponentially. Pain pushes us beyond our perceived limits, revealing dormant internal resources. Think of survival stories, where creativity and courage emerge in the face of despair. Pain teaches us that we are stronger and more capable than we imagine, able to endure and overcome challenges that once seemed insurmountable. It hides the depth of our inner strength, our innate capacity for resistance and overcoming that only emerges under pressure. The value of empathy and deepening human connection. Pain, especially emotional pain, can be an isolating experience, leading to feelings of loneliness. However, when we share it authentically and vulnerably, it can also become a powerful bond of connection with others. Having gone through difficult times allows us to understand and feel the pain of others more deeply and genuinely, developing empathy and compassion. The support networks that form in times of crisis, the friendships that solidify in adversity, are a testament to the power of pain in uniting people and revealing true bonds. It hides the true depth of human connection and the ability to relate on a more authentic and meaningful level. The catalysis of change and radical action. Pain is perhaps the most powerful motivator for change. When the discomfort of a situation becomes unbearable, inertia is abruptly broken and we are compelled to act. This action might be seeking professional help, changing careers, ending a toxic relationship, starting a new life project, or finally facing a problem we've been postponing. Pain shakes us out of passivity and pushes us forward, often onto paths we would never have dared to explore in a comfort zone. It forces us out of autopilot. It hides our capacity for rapid mobilization, radical transformation, and making life-altering decisions. Gratitude for small things and the revaluation of life. Paradoxically, pain also teaches us to value what we once considered trivial or taken for granted. A sunny day, a warm meal, good health, the presence of loved ones, the ability to walk or see, things that in comfort might go unnoticed or be taken as obvious, become invaluable treasures when pain strikes us or when we experience a loss. This profound reevaluation leads us to a deeper and more authentic state of gratitude, transforming our perspective on life and making us appreciate every moment. It hides the true value of daily small blessings and the beauty of life in its simplicity. Developing resilience, adversity's great gift. Resilience is not just the ability to tough it out in the face of pain, but to adapt, learn, and strengthen through it. It's a muscle that develops with continuous exercise, and the most effective training for it is adversity, which acts like the weights we use to strengthen our muscles. Learning from falls, transforming failure into feedback. Every failure, every mistake, every setback, however painful, is a learning opportunity. Resilient people don't dwell on what went wrong. They see it as valuable feedback, not as a sign of incompetence. They objectively analyze the situation, extract lessons. What did I learn from this? What would I do differently next time? And apply that knowledge in the future. It's the difference between lamenting a fall and getting up stronger with more wisdom on how to avoid the next one or how to cushion it. Pain, in this context, hides the valuable lesson contained in every failure, transforming it into a stepping stone for future success. The growth mindset, the strength to look beyond the problem. Resilient people cultivate a growth mindset, a concept popularized by Carol Dweck. They view challenges and adversities not as proof of their limitations, I'm not good enough, but as opportunities to develop new skills, capabilities, and strategies. Pain is not a sign to give up, but a sign that they need to find a new approach, learn something new, or seek different resources. This mindset is fundamental to turning adversity into a personal and competitive advantage. It hides the potential for infinite evolution in every obstacle, revealing that our capacities are not fixed, but malleable and expandable. Acceptance and flexibility as pillars of adaptation. Resilience does not mean the absence of pain or the ability to avoid it, but the capacity to accept it as part of life and to adapt to it. It's recognizing that not everything is under our control and that, instead of futilely fighting the inevitable, we should focus on what we truly can control, our response to the situation. This mental and emotional flexibility allows us to navigate turbulent waters without drowning in frustration, rigidity, or victimhood. It enables us to adjust our sails instead of trying to stop the wind. Pain, by exposing us to what we cannot change, hides the freedom and strength that acceptance and malleability can bring. Strategies for cultivating resilience daily. Emotional self-awareness. Understanding your own emotional reactions and thought patterns in the face of stress and adversity. Recognizing the emotion without being overwhelmed by it. Emotional regulation. Developing healthy strategies to manage difficult emotions such as anger, anxiety, sadness, and fear, rather than suppressing them or reacting impulsively. Techniques like deep breathing, journaling, and positive self-talk are fundamental. Realistic optimism. Maintaining a positive outlook but grounded in reality, without denying difficulties. Believing in your ability to overcome challenges and seeing the constructive side of every situation. Cultivating a strong support network. Building and nurturing relationships with people who support you, offer perspective, inspire you, and challenge you constructively. Knowing that you are not alone is a pillar of resilience. Having a purpose and meaning. Having a greater sense of purpose in life that gives you strength, direction, and a reason to continue, even in times of crisis. A purpose gives us something bigger to fight for. Prioritizing holistic self-care. Prioritizing physical well-being, sleep, nutrition, exercise, hydration, and mental well-being, meditation, hobbies, time in nature, quiet time, to have the energy and clarity to face challenges. Self-care is not selfishness, it is the foundation of your capacity for action. Active problem solving. Instead of ruminating on the problem, focusing on actively searching for solutions, breaking them down into smaller, actionable steps. Critical thinking and situation analysis. The ability to analyze the facts of a situation objectively, separating them from emotions, to make more effective decisions. Transforming pain into action. Strategies for movement and meaningful change. The great lesson of pain is not just to feel it, but to use the energy it generates to drive action. It is in this movement, this proactive response to discomfort, that wisdom materializes, transforming suffering into progress and discomfort into lasting achievement. Action is the bridge between pain and growth. The power of reflective questioning and reframing the situation. Instead of falling into the trap of victimhood with questions like, why is this happening to me? The strategy is to adopt powerful, solution-oriented questions. What is this situation trying to teach me? How can I use this experience to strengthen and grow? What is the first, small, concrete step I can take to improve this situation? This shift in focus from problem to solution is the first and most crucial step towards action. It pulls us out of passivity and puts us in control of our response. Pain, by immobilizing us in complaint, hides the solutions and new paths that emerge from constructive and reflective questioning. Breaking the inertia of pain-induced procrastination. Often, the pain of failure, criticism, or loss leads us to procrastinate even more, out of fear of repeating the painful experience. To break this inertia, it's crucial to adopt strategies like the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes to complete, do it immediately without overthinking, and the just start, or initial momentum strategy. Take the first small step, no matter how tiny, even if the project seems enormous and daunting. Action, however small, creates momentum, lessens the psychological burden of the task, and proves to our brain that we are capable of moving. Pain, by paralyzing us with fear, hides the capacity for immediate overcoming and the strength of the momentum created by taking the first step. Focus on solution and the application of creativity. Complaining and rumination keep us trapped in the problem, in a vicious cycle of negativity. Action, however, directs us toward the solution. Practice solution brainstorming, either alone by writing down your ideas, or with trusted people in a collaborative environment. Instead of lamenting the lack of resources, think about how to optimize the ones you already have or how to find alternative resources. Instead of complaining about an obstacle, explore different ways to circumvent it, overcome it, or even turn it into an advantage. Pain, by closing us off in suffering, hides the innate creativity within each of us and the endless possibilities for problem solving. Personal responsibility as an unwavering engine of action. Taking responsibility for your choices and for your response to circumstances is the most potent fuel for action. When you understand that you are the primary agent of change in your life, the need to wait for someone, for external permission, or for a change in scenery drastically diminishes. This self-responsibility is not about blame or self-judgment, but about empowerment and recognizing your power to choose and to act. Pain, by making us feel like victims, hides the inherent power that resides in self-management and the ability to be the architects of our own lives. The value of feedback and constant adaptation. The pain of a mistake or a failure provides us with invaluable feedback. Instead of ignoring it, suppressing it, or victimizing yourself, objectively analyze what went wrong, separating it from emotions, and adjust your approach. Action is an iterative process. Observe the results, good or bad, learn from them and adapt. This capacity for continuous learning and adjustment, the essence of Kaizen, continuous improvement, is fundamental to transforming pain into sustainable progress and practical wisdom. Pain, by disorienting us, hides the precise lessons that come from continuous self-assessment and strategic flexibility. The legacy of wisdom, how pain shapes purpose and inspires others. When pain is processed with wisdom and transformed into meaningful action, it not only benefits the individual on a profound level but also creates a legacy that can inspire, guide, and transform the lives of many others. It is at this point that pain transcends the personal and becomes a beacon of hope. Purpose forged in adversity, the alchemy of suffering. Many people not only discover but solidify and deepen their life's purpose after going through great pain or trials. The loss of a loved one can lead someone to dedicate their life to a social cause or to create a foundation in memory of the beloved person. A serious illness can awaken a calling for healing, health awareness, or supporting other patients. Overcoming an addiction can transform an individual into a mentor and guide for others facing the same battle. Pain, in this sense, is a crucible that refines purpose, making it more authentic, deeper, and more meaningful. It acts as a driving force that brings clarity and urgency to one's life mission. Pain, in its intensity, hides the depth and clarity of our calling and the purpose that can only be forged in the furnace of adversity. Inspiring by example, the power of the overcoming story. The story of people who have overcome great adversities through action and resilience is always a source of deep inspiration and admiration. Think of the examples that echo through history. Nick Vujicic, born without limbs, who inspires millions with his message that life has value regardless of physical limitations. Helen Keller, who, despite being blind and deaf, became a tireless advocate for human rights and education. Nelson Mandela, who transformed 27 years of imprisonment into a movement of reconciliation and justice for an entire nation. Malala Yousafzai, who, after being shot for advocating for girls' education, became a global voice for equality and empowerment. These lives are living proof that pain, when channeled into purposeful and courageous action, can generate a legacy that transcends generations, borders, and circumstances. The stories of these people not only move us but show us the way. Pain, in its rawest form, hides the potential for an inspiring legacy that resonates throughout humanity. The power of vulnerability in growth narratives. When we share our own stories of overcoming, not just the final outcome but the painful process, the mistakes made, the doubts, and the lessons learned, we not only free ourselves from pain in a cathartic way but also offer a beacon of hope and identification for those going through similar difficulties. The vulnerability of telling your journey, exposing your weaknesses and how you dealt with suffering, creates a genuine human connection and strengthens the community. The wisdom extracted from pain can be disseminated and generate large-scale positive impact, offering tools and perspectives to everyone. Pain, by isolating us in suffering, hides the transformative power of our own story and the ability to be a light on the path of others. Building a culture of collective resilience. In families, work teams, communities, or friendship groups, when an individual demonstrates the ability to transform pain into action, learning, and growth, they directly contribute to building a culture of collective resilience. Those around them, witnessing this overcoming, feel safer in facing their own challenges, knowing that failure is not the end, but an opportunity for growth. This culture of mutual support, learning from mistakes, and overcoming obstacles is one of the most valuable legacies we can leave. It creates an environment where complaining diminishes and the search for solutions and mutual encouragement increase. Pain, by testing individual limits, hides the ability of an entire community to strengthen and uplift each other. The invitation to continuous action and infinite growth. The legacy of pain transformed into wisdom is not a finish line, a final destination. On the contrary, it is a continuous invitation to action and uninterrupted growth. It reminds us that life is an endless cycle of learning, development, and overcoming. Each new pain, each new challenge that arises, is a fresh opportunity to apply acquired wisdom, to hone our capacity to act with purpose, to refine our resilience, and to deepen our self-knowledge. Pain, in its cyclical nature, hides the opportunity for endless growth and evolution, revealing that the journey of wisdom is continuous and there is always something new to be learned and overcome. Practical strategies for navigating pain with wisdom. Transforming pain into wisdom and, consequently, into action, is not an easy process, nor is it always intuitive. However, it is entirely possible with the right tools and mindset. Wisdom offers us an arsenal of strategies not only to endure pain but to flourish through it. Recognize, validate, and name the pain. Emotional intelligence. The first and most crucial step is not to flee from pain, but to recognize it, validate it, and if possible, name it. Allow yourselves to feel what needs to be felt, be it sadness, anger, frustration, fear, or grief, without judgment, without guilt, and without trying to minimize it. Denying pain, suppressing it, or trying to ignore it only prolongs suffering and prevents the process of healing, learning, and, consequently, the ability to act effectively. Validating your pain is a fundamental act of self-compassion. Saying, "I'm feeling angry because X happened," or, "I'm sad about Y," is already a big step towards managing it. Pain, when avoided, hides the freedom and clarity that come from emotional acceptance and understanding. Actively seek perspective and meaning. Amidst intense pain, it can be incredibly difficult to see beyond the immediate suffering. However, trying to seek a broader perspective can be a powerful exercise. Ask yourselves, what can this experience teach me in the long run? How does this fit into my larger life journey? Is there any hidden meaning or an opportunity for growth that I can extract from this situation, even if painful? This active search for meaning, even if it doesn't come immediately, opens a channel for learning and for reframing the pain. Pain, in its intensity, hides the possibility of finding deep meaning and renewed purpose. Practice intentional and non-negotiable self-care. Pain, whatever its form, drains our physical, mental, and emotional energy and makes us vulnerable. In such moments, self-care is not a luxury, but an absolute and non-negotiable necessity. Ensure adequate and quality sleep, nutritious and balanced food, regular physical activity, even a light walk, and reserve intentional moments of relaxation, pleasure, and introspection, such as meditation, reading, hobbies, or time in nature. Taking care of your body and mind is fundamental to having the strength, resilience, and clarity needed to process pain and, eventually, transform it into constructive action. Pain, by exhausting us, hides the vital need for intensified self-care for our recovery and strengthening. Cultivate and rely on a strong support network. Don't face pain alone. Human beings are social creatures and need connection, especially in moments of vulnerability. Seek the support of friends, family, mentors, support groups, or professionals, therapists, coaches, spiritual counselors. Sharing your experiences, feelings, and challenges can lighten the burden, offer new perspectives, and reinforce the certainty that you are not alone in this journey. Authentic human connection is a powerful buffer against the impact of pain and a catalyst for healing. Pain, by isolating us in suffering, hides the strength and healing that come from community and mutual support. Focus on the circle of internal control. Stoic principle. Stoic wisdom teaches us a fundamental lesson about pain. We cannot control what happens to us, external circumstances and painful events, but we can and should control how we react to it. External pain may be inevitable, but prolonged suffering and victimhood are often a choice of our response and our interpretation. Focusing on your choices, your actions, and your mindset in the face of pain, rather than on circumstances beyond your control, is the path to empowerment. This philosophy frees us from helplessness. Pain, by disorienting us, hides the inherent power of our free will and our ability to choose our response. Celebrate progress, not just final overcoming. The path from pain to wisdom and to action is a gradual process, often made up of small steps. Don't wait for the big breakthrough to allow yourselves to feel a sense of accomplishment. Celebrate every small progress, every new insight, every act of resilience, every day you chose to act instead of complain. Recognizing progress, however small, strengthens motivation and reinforces belief in your ability to overcome. This celebration of the process is vital to keep the flame burning. Pain, in its magnitude, hides the beauty and strength contained in small steps and in the journey of healing and growth. Meditation and mindful reflection as pain's alchemy. Regularly dedicating time to meditation and mindful reflection allows for a space of internal silence where we can process pain without being swallowed by it. Observing our thoughts and emotions in a detached way without judgment helps us understand their origins and develop more conscious responses, instead of impulsive reactions. It is a moment of true alchemy, where the raw, dense energy of pain can be transformed into nuggets of wisdom, clarity, and inner peace. It is the moment to hear what pain has to say without it screaming. Pain, in its chaos, hides the depth of introspection and the ability to find serenity in the eye of the storm. The practice of gratitude amidst adversity. Even in the most difficult moments, there is always something to be grateful for, however small. Gratitude does not deny pain but broadens our vision, allowing us to see the good even in challenging circumstances. It can be gratitude for the opportunity to learn, for the support of a friend, for the very ability to feel, or for the chance to start over. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to victimhood and negative rumination. It reprograms our brain to seek the positive even when it seems scarce. Pain, by closing us off to what is missing, hides the abundance and blessings that still exist in our lives. Conclusion: a life built on the wisdom of action and adversity. The profound and transformative message that the pain teaches what comfort hides is by no means an invitation to masochism, the intentional pursuit of suffering, or the glorification of difficulty. On the contrary, it is a powerful and liberating reminder that the most significant growth, the deepest wisdom, and the most unwavering resilience often emerge paradoxically from our ability to face, process, learn from, and ultimately transform adversity. Comfort in itself is a neutral state. It is how we seek it, how we maintain it, and how we react to its absence that can trap us in stagnation, complacency, and missed opportunities. Pain, on the other hand, is an inherent catalyst, an agent of change that, in its intensity, forces us to awaken, to learn, to evolve, and, crucially, to act. It shakes us out of passivity and pushes us forward, revealing internal resources we never even imagined we possessed. May those who watch this content be guided through this complex yet rewarding journey. May you see that life is not about avoiding pain at all costs, but about learning to dance with it, extracting the valuable lessons it has to offer. May you feel encouraged to embrace the discomfort of new experiences, inevitable mistakes, and seemingly insurmountable challenges, for it is in this fertile ground, irrigated by persistence and courage, that your greatest strengths will be revealed, your roots will deepen, and your purpose will become clearer and unshakable. May every moment of discomfort, every tear shed, and every obstacle overcome be a powerful reminder. Pain is a rigorous, relentless, and often cruel teacher, but its lessons are, without a doubt, the most invaluable and lasting that life can offer. It, in its apparent darkness, hides your resilience, your clarity of purpose, your true inner strength, and your limitless capacity to inspire and transform the world around you. By stopping complaining about adversities and starting to act based on this profound wisdom, you will not only radically transform your own life but also leave a lasting legacy of courage, continuous learning, and a deep and authentic fulfillment. If this video brought you more clarity and helped you see pain from a new perspective, leave your like so that more people can be reached by this powerful message. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos about daily wisdom and personal growth. And tell me in the comments, what was the greatest lesson pain ever taught you? I really want to know how this topic resonated with you.